Alright, welcome to another Hickory Hack. Today I'm sharing my tips for buying hickory golf clubs in antique stores. I recently did a 2-week road trip through the Midwest and Rust Belt, came across a lot of clubs, and thought it would be a good idea to weave together a few videos that might help you know what to look for when you come across these kinds of clubs. So basically what I'm looking for are straight crack-free shafts, good playable weight, and niblets and mashie niblets, which are often hard to find. And I'm pretty comfortable with these prices for common clubs, but your prices may vary based on where you're at and how hard they are to find. Hi everybody, Hickory Hacker here. I'm on the road doing some antiquing in Pennsylvania and came across some hickory clubs, and I just wanted to kind of show them to you real quick. This is a pretty common way you find them. Sometimes these were actually hidden behind some posters, so I had to move those. And they're pretty common, but I wanted to point out a couple things real quick. So this one here is actually probably a pretty good player. It's got good weight to it, and it's got a nice sole there. But it's a good shaft, so even if it wasn't a good player, I'd probably still pick this one up. It's 16 bucks and 10% off, or 20% off actually, things over 10 bucks. So that's a pretty good deal for that club. So I'm going to pick that one up, and I'll show you what else is in here real quick. This is a lefty McGregor. I'm actually going to pick this one up as well. Lefty clubs are kind of hard to find, and again, pretty decent shaft, straight. For 15 bucks, you know, really can't go wrong. So a lot of times you're going to run into clubs that have a lot of rust on them, or just common clubs in general. Here's a putter. Pretty sure that's a Spalding. I'll pass on that one. But in general, if the shaft is straight and it's less than 20 bucks, I think it's a pretty easy buy because you can always reuse the shaft. And if you're lucky, it might be a player, as is. I'm at the largest, or one of the largest, antique malls in Ohio. And that means that the selection and the opportunity for finding clubs is pretty high, as in this booth. But something I want to point out, the larger the store, the more likely the prices are going to be expensive. Here you have 4 Lady Burke clubs for $3.75. They're in good shape, but don't ever pay this much for these kinds of clubs. And that's the thing, if you're a beginner and you run into this lot of clubs here, you might think, oh, great deal, match set, you know, but you're going to be paying way more than you should be for them. There are some interesting clubs in here, but way more than I would be willing to pay. Here's a good example right here. There's a New Mills putter. Don't pay that much. If you find one of these, it's a cool putter, but don't pay that much. Found this nice little batch here. I haven't looked through these myself yet, so we're going to do it together. So look pretty common, but good prices. So if the shafts are good on these, I'm going to be picking most of these up. Majestic Mashie, 9 bucks, can't beat that. Draper Maynard Niblick, 6 bucks, come on, that's awesome. Putters, you know, I don't really need any more putters, so probably pass on those. Assuming all the shafts are good on these, I'm going to be snagging all of these clubs here. That's cool. Some Mills. See if this is better than the 110 one. Yeah, 13 bucks. That's much better. If you saw my video from last week, you remember the $110 Mills. That's actually a really good deal. So, pretty excited about this. There's a fancy face brassy, 17 bucks. Might have hit the mother lode here, everybody. Very cool. So one of the biggest things to trip up new collectors is mixing up hickory with Pyrotone, and I found a really good example that helps demonstrate the difference. So these are some Pyrotone early steel shaft clubs mixed in with these wooden shaft clubs, and when they're standing next to each other you can see the difference pretty easy. You know, the wood shaft is going to have a thicker diameter near the hosel. The Pyrotone here is a thinner one, but if these were by themselves and you didn't know any better, or you're new to hickory golf, you'd look at this and swear this is wood. Look how good of the job they did on the wood grain look of this club. And like I said, if you're a beginner and you see this, you'd bet money that's wood. But it's not. it's Pyrotone. And I'll just show you something real quick to prove it. Take a magnet, and I've got one on my money clip. See right there? Looks like wood, but it's steel. And that would easily trick somebody. So, something to keep in mind. I think the biggest indicator of a Pyrotone versus hickory shaft is the diameter of the hosel and the treatment up here. This is, to me, a dead giveaway now that I've seen enough of these clubs. But don't just look at the grain. You know, check the whole thing, and you know, it's handy to have a magnet on hand too to test the shaft. So that wraps up this Hickory Hack. I hope these tips help you make good decisions when you come across clubs in antique stores, and maybe I've made myself some more competition out there. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe.